Some creepy dark UFOs over Missouri have been reported to Section 51.
Section 51.
Section 51.
Section 51.
Hi everyone, what's up? I am GH aka DOZgeek, back here with Section 51. So today I'd like to review a video and some photos which were submitted to Section 51 by one subscriber of the channel. This video and these photos have been emailed to us by Caitlin, who lives in Missouri in the US. Thanks very much, Caitlin. Today we will review all that here. Let you guys check it out. Let's start. And here are the words of Caitlin commenting what she saw with her own eyes. Apparently she was in a car with her kid and took the time to capture with her smartphone something very strange in the sky.
Go!
Oh my God.
I saw this in St. Joseph, Missouri on February the 1st at 6 p.m. It was completely round, black and disc-shaped. No lights at all.
She raises a very important detail. No lights. Personally, and to my knowledge, there is no aircraft or airplane that does not have signal lights. Even a drone has lights. And on this video, this UFO just doesn't have any lights. Moreover, its moves are very soft and slow. It's not moving fast like a jet fighter or an airplane. Could it be a low-orbit satellite visible in broad daylight? Sincerely, I don't know. Low-orbit satellites most often have lights or are sparkling. This is not the case here. There are several testimonies from people who claim that they saw black and disc-shaped UFOs like the one Caitlin saw that day. This is another recent story, the story of Mary. Here is what she reported.
My family had 52 acres in North Waterboro, Maine, where we spent every summer. We lived in Massachusetts. This one evening about 7 p.m., it was completely dark. We have no street lights on our dead-end country road, all forest. My brother 11 years old and I was 9 years old at the time, I think it was 1975, we went outside to check on the cicadas that we saw coming out of the ground earlier. I hear my brother say, "What's that?" I look up and we see a big black disc, just like a flying saucer, but black not silver, just hovering about 20 yards above our barn. It was right there. Quiet, but with a low hum sound. It blended in with the nighttime sky, but you could see the outline of the object. I only recall about 3 small lights on it. One on the edge, one in the middle, one on the other outer edge. We screamed for my mother, who was right in the window 20 feet away, and she didn't respond, so my brother ran in to get her. I then saw the disc move so smoothly and with no sound. It moved sideways or forward depending on how you look at it, and was now parallel to my house. Right above the tree line, it just hovered there while I screamed for my mother. It suddenly, with no sound, took off like lightning speed over the tree line and was gone.
Mary relives this UFO sighting in her memory all the time. She thinks she really did see a UFO. It was nothing like a plane or helicopter, and it moved like nothing she has ever seen in our world. But that's not all. Here is another strange story. This one of the most famous UFO sightings in the UFO history. Let's talk about the UFO sighting at East Mountain Radar Base in 1961. During the Cold War, the US Air Force maintained a radar base on Vermont's East Mountain. Named the North Concord Air Force Station, this remote facility started operating in 1956. At the height of its operations, about 175 men worked at the station. They lived in a little Quonset hut village, complete with store, bowling alley and theater, about a mile down the mountain. In 1961, according to military reports, a strange object appeared in the skies above East Mountain and remained visible for about 18 minutes. Some assert that this was the same UFO as the one mentioned in the events involving Barney and Betty Hill, another report of UFO sighting and abduction in the same area. Indeed, the first widely publicized report of an alien abduction in the United States was that of Betty and Barney Hill. The Portsmouth, New Hampshire. The couple claimed to have been taken by extraterrestrials, or rather a mysterious light in the sky near Franconia Notch on the night of September the 19th, 1961. The Hills said they saw a bright light in the sky while driving home at about 10:30 p.m. Betty thought at first it was a shooting star, but then it changed direction and moved upward. They stopped the car for a closer look, and through binoculars they saw an odd-shaped craft flashing multicolored lights. As they drove away, the craft, which they estimate was at least 40 feet long, followed them, eventually descending so low over their 1957 Chevy that they stopped the car. Again, using binoculars, Barney saw humanoid figures in black uniforms through the ship's windows. The Hills drove away at high speed. They heard some buzzing and beeping sounds, experienced a tingling sensation, and blacked out. When they regained consciousness, they had traveled nearly 35 miles south, although they didn't recall the journey. Later, under hypnosis, the Hills described being taken onto the ship where they were separated and examined. Their story was adapted by journalist John J. Fuller into the best-selling 1966 book The Interrupted Journey and the 1975 television movie The UFO Incident. To end this episode of events that took place in 1961, the radar base of East Mountain finally closed in 1963 and now sits abandoned. And to go back to the first story of Caitlin, you have to know that this is not the first time she sends us some amazing pictures of UFO sighting in her area. Let's have a closer look to these other UFO sightings previously captured in May 2018 in the sky of St. Joseph, Missouri, in the USA, of course. You can notice the strange shape of the lights in the first UFO hidden in the clouds. That kind of formation reminds me of the Newton lights in 1987. In fact, on May the 26th, 1987, commercial airline pilot Randy Etting took a nighttime walk near his home in Newton, Connecticut. He often studied the skies when he walked, trying to identify passing planes. At around 9:45 p.m., he observed some orange and red lights approaching from the west. He got his binoculars and called his neighbors to come outside. Etting said that as the UFO passed over Interstate 84, cars pulled over to watch. And indeed, between 9:30 and 10:15 p.m., more than 200 people phoned police to report a UFO. The object displayed a semicircular pattern of very bright multicolored lights. Several drivers reported that their cars had lost power as the lights passed by. About 15 minutes later, calls started coming in from New Milford, about 14 miles north, alerting authorities that the lights, reported by many to be connected to an object larger than a football field, these lights were hovering there. The lights eventually vanished, but the mystery remains. Please, if you know of any other New England UFO sightings or alien encounters, let us know in the comments below. And concerning the second black UFO reported by Caitlin on the same day of May 2018, look at that one just over the electric lines. That specific shape and the dark color immediately reminds me the Black Knight satellite. But it would be too good to be true. And let me remind you that the Black Knight should be in near polar orbit of the Earth. Again, I don't know what it is. Maybe an insect, or a bird passing in front of the lens, or some speck of dust on the lens. I don't have enough information about this dark UFO sighting to be able to firmly say it could be some alien spacecraft. On the other hand, the UFO sighting with lights in the cloud is stranger and asks many more questions. Is it really some unidentified flying object you can only see the lights of? Or is it simply the reflection of the lights of a terrestrial object on the camera's lens? I can't say anymore because all I have is only these few photos. That really limits our study of the subject. But that's still interesting to study all these informations, these strange UFO reports. After all, doesn't the term UFO mean some unidentified flying object? This is the point here. You can't really explain the objects you are actually seeing in the sky, and why all these UFO reports, particularly in Missouri? Well, I can partially answer this question. Since 1950, Missouri is officially 14th in the highest number of sightings of unidentified flying objects with 2,114 reports. That's completely amazing. So what do you think about all these UFO reports? I think it's still really a lot of UFO reports, historic reports, and the more recent reports. It's pretty uncanny, don't you think? However, big thanks to Caitlin for submitting us all this stuff. It gave me the opportunity to talk about all this. Thank you, Caitlin. Like once said the Greek philosopher Socrates, all I know is that I know nothing. We must remain very humble on all these questions. I'll be back really soon. Open your eyes, watch the sky. Live long and prosper.